1025fm.com.
What's up? What's up? What's up? Hey guys, and welcome to episode 3. Was this 3 or 4?
It's 3.
3 of Laugh Therapy. I'm super excited for today's conversation. This is Laugh Therapy, where we elevate your mood and mental one laugh at a time. I am your host, Joe King.
And I am JD, a.k.a. Sunshine.
And we're super excited to get into this. If you guys did not watch last week's episode, we covered cancel culture. So definitely go back and watch that because it leads into today's episode, which is just the part 2 of cancel culture. Because as you guys know, there is a lot to cover when we are talking about cancel culture. And I'm super excited about what we're going to get into today. Last week, we got into exactly what cancel culture means to each of us. And then we played Justified, Unjustified, and Escape Artist for who you thought was justified in being canceled, who you thought was unjustifiably canceled, and of course, who should have been canceled and we had not canceled them yet. So we will be playing that game again today. So definitely go back and watch last week's episode because I definitely want to hear you guys' thoughts on that and give and engage with us and let us know how you felt about it.
Yeah, we want to hear y'all and see y'all in the comments.
100%. So I'd like to start today off. This is the part 2 of cancel culture. And JD, what role do you think, or what role would you say that social media plays in cancel culture?
So it's the only role, right? And
So it's your opinion.
Yeah, it's the only role because we wouldn't be able to sit in our echo chambers and, scream rah, rah, rah if it wasn't for social media because the regular Joe Schmoes off the street wouldn't be able to get their opinions behind their keyboards without it. So that's my thoughts on the issue.
Well, wouldn't that contradict just a little bit? Because in the last episode, we also said that cancel culture is not new. Cancel culture is not a new phenomenon. It existed for quite some time, especially before social media existed. So how did it exist back then without social media?
It was called blackballing. It was a different form. So the culture in it is the main focus, right? Because it's rooted in our community, our culture.
But wouldn't cancel culture lead to blackballing? Isn't that still what it is?
Like I said, it's a different form. So it's not the exact same thing to me.
Okay.
Blackballing and cancel culture. Because we don't have a say-so on who gets blackballed in the industry. So blackballing is still around, right?
Okay.
We don't have any say-so over that.
Okay. I partly disagree, only because being someone who has been canceled, being someone who's been
canceled, girl?
2020, girl, y'all can Google me. Y'all can Google me. I done been canceled time and time again. Just Hilarious has been canceled time and time again. In our field of entertainment, you push levels. You push buttons. That's what we do as comics. That's what we do as entertainers. That's what we do as people. We're still growing. We're still learning. We're still experimenting. Life didn't come with a handbook, right? So there are going to be some toes that get stepped on and some feelings that get hurt, and conversations need to be had so that we can better understand one another. And I feel like cancel culture kind of it hinders that. But as far as the role that social media plays in it, I would say that it plays a role in changing your perspective and controlling and driving the narrative. Social media, like you just said, we don't control who gets blackballed, but in a way I feel that you do. Because the same way that this whole Jonathan Majors thing is going on, people are trying to get him removed from the MCU franchise. We have no idea what happened. We weren't there. All we have is her story and his story. His story is he didn't. Her story, well, the cop story was that it was. There's now text messages of her saying that he didn't do what it is that they accused him of. Like, we don't know, but there are still thousands of people. He's trending right now.
Who are those people?
I have no idea. And that's the problem, because there's still power in those hands. And we have no idea if they're trolls. We have no idea if they're people who actually knew Jonathan Majors or knew his girlfriend. We have no idea. There's the far left and the far right, people who are believing, not politically, but I mean as far as the sides of the scale. There are people who automatically want to believe the victim, alleged victim. And then there are people who are automatically, who may be activists or whatnot, who are looking at it like, we have no idea what happened. Here we have this successful black man trying to make something of himself. Of course, something has to go off right before he's about to sign a major MCU deal. So we have no idea what happened, but cancel culture is ready to end this man's career over it. Some other examples that I wrote down: Michael Vick. He ain't come back from that. Anytime anybody mentions Michael Vick, they think of the dog situation. Cancel culture did not allow this man to grow from it. They did not allow this man to come back and say, okay, somebody messed up, or I messed up, and okay, I'm moving forward. Kim Kardashian will never live down that sex tape.
I would disagree with Michael Vick. He was able to come back and play.
He was not.
When I see Michael Vick right now, I don't think of him in that way.
Okay. Well, there are a lot less people who think that way than there are people who automatically still associate him with that situation. He has not had the same success when it comes to endorsements. He has not had the same success when it comes to different things that you can spin into from the league because of the background and the backlash that he would probably get moving forward. Kim Kardashian still ain't lived down the sex tape. They blame her for ruining. Well, yes, but that's not how she has stayed famous. She's done so many things since then, but that's still the one that our community recognizes as her gift or claim to fame, right? She was an assistant to Hilton before
but we
that.
Wouldn't know her, right? If it wasn't for that.
I have no idea what we would know. I'm only speaking from this point, from the other things that she has accomplished since then. She has been a wife multiple times. She has become a mother. She has started businesses. She went back to law school or something. She's done with all these things. Nobody gives a shit about any of that. Everybody's like, yeah, that's the one that Ray J had first. Like nobody, when it comes to cancel culture. Another thing, as far as what role social media plays, I think we saw it with Chadwick Boseman. Knowing how he was going to be perceived, being Black Panther, being that strong role model, he decided to suffer in silence when it came to his illness and his sickness because he knew how cruel social media and people could be. He didn't want to be looked at differently. He didn't want to have to battle it and also battle others, right? Social media plays a major part in cancel culture. And then some people, it can also be hindering to people who are trying to progress and educate themselves on something, because people are afraid to ask questions out of fear of it being seen as gaslighting or as it being seen as racist because you didn't know, right? So I think social media does play a large role in it, only because it's thousands on thousands or millions on millions of people, and it feels like everyone is speaking to you at the same time, when in reality it's just more people than you actually have in your circle. You might interact with 30 to 40 people a day, but then you get on social media and you have access to millions of people at one time, and all of those millions of people speaking to you at one time can be a lot.
Oh, it's like the Jim Carrey movie where was God?
Yeah.
And everybody was praying to him at once.
Yeah, it sounds like you being yelled at. And these are people you may never meet in your life, but these people have their voices become more powerful together, is what I would say. What would you say are some potentially negative or harmful consequences of cancel culture?
The biggest one, it can affect your bag, right? So, for example, Kevin Hart. They found some tweets of his from a decade prior to, and they took his whole Oscars bag, and I know that's a big one.
They did. They set my mans up. They set Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
Well, and technically he set himself up with the text, but also it was a decade prior, or at least 5 years prior. Who does not grow out of certain mentalities after 5, 6, 7, 8 years? Who doesn't after 1 year? I'm not the same person I was last week. Right. I'm like, I've experienced a lot just in the last 2 years. Who I was 2 years ago has some more knowledge now, also has some different traumas now that I need to address. Like, for us to just assume that he's still in the same mindset, and he's a comedian. He was clearly joking. But yeah, I would agree with that. I'm sorry, I ended up joining in cutting you off.
Nah, you good. Everybody wants to hear what you got to say, girl.
What are some other negative consequences of cancel culture?
No, so that was just going into what I was saying. So with them taking 10 years ago, so he had to been in his late 20s or 20s. Look, if somebody looked at what I said on Facebook when I was in my 20s, even though I had 2 degrees, y'all would have thought I was the most uneducated person alive. And who knows? I mean, think about it. If people took what you did when you were not mature and held you to that standard after you have matured, would you have a job right now? Honestly, answer that question. There go my brother. He right on there. Yep. It magnifies the process through
100%.
social media. We totally agree. So that is definitely one of the negative effects, and it also can affect your mental health.
That's
so
what I was
all the
about to get
people
into.
yelling and screaming at you from something you might have done a long time ago, who knows what that does to your psyche and your mental health. And that is one thing we don't like to talk about in our community as well, is how things affect people's mental health. So
I think that we as a community enjoy holding other people accountable, but we don't like when we don't take that accountability when it comes back to us. For example, there was a YouTuber. She was a teenager, by the way. She was 15 years old, YouTuber and TikToker. And she's, I guess, a text message or a conversation between her and another young lady who was also a teenager was leaked. Their conversation was speaking ill of another teenager, like mean girls do at 15, like it happens. And that teenager committed suicide. Now, wait. For those of you that are listening, it gets better. They attacked her. Yeah, wait, because I'm getting to it. They attacked the heck out of this 15-year-old girl. She apologized like she didn't know what was going on. Thousands of people in her inbox, thousands of people coming at her, coming for her neck, and it turned out it was a lie. The girl did not commit suicide. She just wanted to teach that young girl a lesson. And yeah, nobody took accountability for the way that they were treating that 15-year-old girl for being 15. Now, she didn't call the girl anything crazy or whatnot. It was just like them making fun of what we would have considered roasting back in the day, right? But the girl changed or announced on her TikTok by one of her friends that she committed suicide, and people attacked the heck out of a 15-year-old girl, which I'm sure definitely had to affect her mental health. But it was just because the young lady wanted to, quote unquote, teach her a lesson. For you to decide that you have that much power to affect someone's money and mental health that way, just because, oh, well, they were talking about me, they shouldn't have been talking about me. That's crazy to me. I feel that the people take accountability because nobody turned around and was like, oh my God, we should not have been talking to this 15-year-old girl that way. Everybody automatically turned around and just started attacking the other girl who faked her suicide, which she should have been held accountable as well. But no one took accountability for the fact that you guys just attacked the heck out of this young girl for having a private conversation on her phone with her friend that we all do. I think it's the same when people attack celebrities on social media, claiming that, well, you chose to put all of your business or all of your life on social media. If you had paparazzi following you every day of your life, I doubt that you would say that you signed up for your privacy to be invaded the way that their privacy is invaded.
that's
crazy
why I
to
said
me.
fame and wealth. There's two different things.
Exactly. And people automatically assume that being famous means that you're wealthy, and that's not the same thing. You knowing who I am does not pay my bills. I have over 750,000 followers on TikTok right now. Not a single solitary one of them has paid a bill for me. Right? So people thinking that they're able to snatch opportunity from you and that's the way to hold you accountable. What did I learn? I didn't learn how to be more compassionate. You didn't just teach me how to be more compassionate. You didn't educate me on anything. All you did was take away an opportunity for me to feed my family. Cancel culture is dangerous because it doesn't teach you anything, and there's no limit to how long you're canceled. People just choose not to move on.
We need a cancel culture representative. I'm gonna keep saying it over and over. Who gonna be the rep? I got it.
I think another issue with that is it forces censorship. And because it's not a conversation of this is what you understand, this is what I understand, and I need you to understand where I'm coming from. That's not what cancel culture is. It's you offended me or you don't agree with me, so you shouldn't speak. You don't agree with what I did or you don't agree with what I agree with, therefore you should not be able to do whatever it is that you're doing. And that's not fair to anyone because none of us were raised the same. None of us have the same ideas. How do we continue to have progressive conversation? How do we continue to make good decisions? How do we, without making those mistakes and having those conversations? We have to have open dialogue.
I think that's the negative part of cancel culture, but we'll get into that later.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. And now it is time for your Did You Know portion.
I'm a shout out Auntie Nee for this one. She hit us with the Did you know this? So this is our Reading Rainbow Did You Know segment. Did y'all know that Oprah almost got canceled in the 90s? Y'all would have no idea what it was for. She had beef with beef. Mm-hmm. Legit beef with beef. So she had an episode that aired in 1996, and I don't know if a lot of y'all are old enough to remember this, when mad cow disease was a thing, and it was affecting cows all across the world. And she had a food expert in there, and basically the food expert went over what mad cow disease and all of that. And so Oprah said one sentence, y'all: "I'm stopped eating burgers." And the cattle industry took a dip from it, and they lost a lot of money. So a bunch of executives got together the next year and they sued her. Well, they attempted to sue her and cancel Oprah. And it was a big deal because if she did not win that, she would have been canceled forever. Oprah wouldn't be the Oprah she is today to do, you get a car, you get a car, you get a car. That wouldn't have been a thing anymore. So that was my Did You Know segment.
Shirley could say, oh, I vaguely remember that. I was 5, so I didn't even know who Oprah was at that time.
I did not know
but
that.
But we would not have our she-role or icon to some of us, Oprah, had we allowed cancel culture to just wipe her out back then. We wouldn't have, no, The Color Purple came out before that.
Oh yeah, way before that.
Way before that. Okay.
We had The Color Purple already. No. But there's so many, we wouldn't have had so many great shows from her network. There would be so many things we would not have if she was canceled at that moment in time. And that goes back into what you were saying just a minute ago. How long do we cancel people?
Yeah, how long are people supposed to be canceled? Because y'all still coming for Chris Brown's neck. He was 17, y'all. That man is 33. Let it go. Let it go. Let this man live. I would love to see Chris Brown still dancing in some of these award shows. I would love to see Chris Brown.
I was going to be so hyped for him and Ciara to be up in that thing.
Amazing. Can you imagine Chris Brown and Chloe actually doing a dance number together? Chris Brown and Ciara doing a dance number together. It would be amazing, and we deserve it, and he would deserve it. And let it go, y'all. He was 17. That's just how I feel. Do you think that cancel culture is more effective in achieving change than the other forms of activism?
No, because you are holding one individual at a time accountable, or you are trying to hold one individual accountable for their actions, whether it was something that we deemed offensive to us personally, or say just a crime. How you doing, sir? You looking at me in the face. How you doing? So what I think people need to realize, if they were smarter, they would start getting NDAs. They would start letting their security carry their guns and going to therapy.
If you try to hang with the queen, you're going to have to sign a non-disclosure.
Do you hear me? I don't know why y'all don't get that. That'll keep you out of half of your troubles right there. But the negative part of cancel culture is sometimes people's feelings get hurt. Mm-hmm. And they try to go in the echo chamber of cancel culture and find other people whose feelings are hurt, or try to make other people feel, oh, that should have hurt my feelings too.
Or they make you feel bad that for not caring that their feelings are hurt. So even if you're like, oh, I didn't think it was a big deal, and they're like, well, for those of us that do, you don't care about, that's not what I said.
Yeah,
that's not what I said at all.
There was a lot of gay people who were in an uproar. There was a lot of gay people in an uproar about Dave Chappelle. We are in a relationship and we were not offended. We actually found it very funny. And there's no way you could change our minds about that. So that is a part of the echo chamber that we're talking about, which is the negative part of cancel culture. Now, there are some times when holding people accountable in cancel culture is necessary, i.e. R. Kelly. We have canceled him.
and he's muted.
Yes.
And he just got ordered to pay like $4 million to a victim's family. No, but they're going to take it from his Sony,
because I was like, he don't own none of his royalties.
Right, they got from the royalty though. He had one thing of royalties that he did own. They're taking it from that. They're taking it from that. They were like, oh, he got a couple pennies. Here you go. That's it. As an activist myself, I do not think cancel culture is is achieving more change. I actually don't think cancel culture achieves change at all. I just think that it makes us feel better as a community because we feel like we held someone accountable. We feel like we took a personal part in the activism to hold this person down or hold this person accountable. And it doesn't actually, like I said, it doesn't educate the person. It does not help any of our movements or anything move forward. It just hurts their pockets, and I don't really feel they learn anything. Protest, petitions, education, open dialogue, conversations.
That is so much harder than just getting on social media and complaining.
100%. All of those things are harder.
That is also the negative about it.
They give a call to action that requires someone to kind of show that they did something, in my opinion. If you protest on someone and you require a change and they show that change, cool. But if you just bully someone into it, they did it because they wanted you to shut up, not necessarily because they learned anything. I do feel like protests can be educational if you do them correctly. Petitions, getting people to read and understand what it is that they're actually advocating for. I feel that it educates more people, even if you don't sign it. If you read it and you didn't agree with it, it launches a conversation, right? It teaches you where we're coming from. And even if you don't agree, you now have dialogue to say, hey, I don't agree with blank. You said blank. But if you are just screaming into an echo chamber of people, for those of you who don't know what an echo chamber is, because we use that word quite often, it's basically, say 40 people close to you. Those 40 people likely think very similarly to how you do, or they're going to see things similar to how you do because they're in your immediate circle. And we attract people who are similar to us, people that we can identify with. We're not going out and trying to make friends with people who have absolutely nothing in common with us and who think completely differently than we do. Therefore, when we're having these conversations and we're getting someone else's opinion, I just want to hear your thoughts. Usually they're going to align at least a little bit with what it is that we're thinking. That is an echo chamber. It's someone who's going to often agree with you because you have similar backgrounds and similar goals.
And you know that when you jump into it.
Exactly. So when you're screaming into your echo chamber that this person hurt your feelings, likely your echo chamber is going to echo back that yes, your feelings should have been hurt, because they're going to validate you because they can see where you're coming from. When you're speaking to people who have no idea what you're talking about or why you're offended, you get better ideas. Well, I won't say better. You get different ideas. You get a different perspective. And if you're open-minded, you might be able to see where the other person was coming from. Right?
I've always said that perspective is everything.
Yes. So I feel like communication is key, but comprehension is the lock. And some of you guys are trying to put a key into the wrong lock. You're trying to have conversations with a door that you weren't supposed to open.
I said what I said.
So that's my thought on it. I do not think that cancel culture is an effective way to hold people accountable. I think that it feels good to the people because you feel like you were active in holding someone accountable, when in reality, because there's no end to cancel culture and there's no call to action to guarantee that that person has learned or been educated or done anything different, what exactly is it here for? I don't understand. It serves no purpose to me. And now, we don't have, yes, we do. And now.
Yo, we got sounds now. We didn't upgrade it.
I know. Now it is time for another game of Justified, Unjustified, or Escape Artist. And we have some new people for you guys this week. And starting off, because I feel like some of y'all about to make me mad already.
I made you mad.
I
And
know.
I didn't have a yes or a no. I was just right in the middle.
I don't even know if we should start with him. No, we gonna
Yeah,
start.
go ahead.
We're going to start with him. Jonathan Majors, guys, do you feel that he is being justifiably canceled? Ooh, that's a long comment.
That's from Tomar. She was talking about Oprah.
Oh, okay.
We'll get back to it in a minute, Tomar.
With Jonathan Majors, do you guys think that he is justifiably being canceled right now, unjustifiably being attacked right now?
I wonder what she thinks, guys.
Or do you think he is an escape artist and he actually will not be canceled? What do you think?
I don't. We got to figure out what actually happened, because I don't like victim shaming, because we've all been victims at some point in our lives, and we want to be believed when something happens to us. So, for me, we gotta get the whole situation, because there was some text thread that came out today. I don't know if that helped or hurt his case.
I think
It's
that
just how
everybody
you
on
interpreted it.
Instagram is trying to become domestic violence experts and investigators in the
A lot of
comment
people
section.
ain't got their ass beat though. I'm gonna be honest.
I'm one of them.
Me too.
So I'm like, I still don't, and I'm not victim shaming. I don't know what happened.
That's
I will
it.
state that. I don't know what happened. I wasn't there. You weren't there. So if anything, we should stay the heck out of it and let the legal system do what it does.
Go ahead, say it.
But at the same time, I just find it funny how as this man is climbing and climbing and climbing and has worked his tail off. Y'all done seen that picture of what he used to look like compared to what he looks like now and what he's built himself into. When he looked the way that he used to look, wasn't nobody checking for him. They're trying to say that it's been years and years of abuse from this man. It's been years and years of him being an abuser, years and years of him being a narcissist, years and years of this, that, and the other. Why now? Why right now? Why right when he lands MCU? Why right after he has been in an ungodly amount of movies? Now, why at the top, at the peak, right now, is everybody ready to be like, oh no, see, I always knew. What?
Why you ain't say this when he first came out?
Exactly.
I get that part.
Nobody wanted to stir the pot before he made it this big, but now that he has made it this big, everyone wants to call attention to he always gave me those vibes. Did he though, or do you just want to be heard right now? Or are you just jealous that he has made something right now and you didn't think that he should be that big because you're not as big or as far in your own goals as he has become? Like, I feel like people are so quick to dive on the side that turns heroes into foes, turns heroes into villains before we even have the full
What's the classic line
story.
from the Batman movie? You live long enough to see your heroes become the villains.
Yeah, like I don't think it's fair. I read the comments. I read the text messages as well. In the text messages, she sounds very apologetic. And I see that a lot of people are trying to say, oh no, that sounds like a domestic violence victim's afraid of being, hurt even more when their abuser comes home. And again, to that, I say, y'all sound like, you're trying to become experts in something you are not an expert in because you've never been a part of their relationship and you do not know this man. And people trying to read too deeply into things and say that they are, they're becoming investigators, and I don't think that that's fair to him. We don't know
That's Shade
him.
Room's fault, though.
Yeah,
they
we
make
don't know
everybody
him.
feel like an investigator because they be finding
And be encouraging it? Why?
We got
Leave
some
that
comments
man alone.
though.
Oh, go
A
ahead.
lot of people feel like it's unjustified, and some people feel like it could be a race thing. Yeah, the text. You got to see the text, and it could be a money thing.
100%.
Or it could be someone
money
just
rules
trying to tear
everything.
him down, just like Kevin Hart. You scrolled his Twitter back 8 to 10 years to go see what he was talking about. So it could be any of those things. We don't know.
So what's
but
your final vote? Justified, unjustified, escape artist?
it's unjustified because we don't know the truth. Now,
I'd
if
agree with
there's
that.
more evidence presented later, and is he even canceled though? Because nobody's dropped him from anything.
I think they were all waiting to see what happened. And since the
Yeah,
charges are dropped, I'm sure he won't be. So I think that's my stance as well. I'm going to go unjustified right now. We don't know what happened. And I do love seeing him on screen. I am a fan.
Yeah.
However,
huge fan. I just hope it's not true.
Comes out, I was like, if it comes out to be irrevocably, undeniably true, then I do think that Jonathan Majors will be an escape artist.
Oh, you think so?
I do.
Why? We got to get into this.
I think he's made some really, really, really good moves in his career, and I think he's got some really, really good, strong black people supporting him to where he won't be able to be mainstream canceled. I think it'll be a Will Smith situation. You can't cancel Will Smith.
Yeah,
you
but
can
Will
try.
Smith
They
just
tried.
slapped the nigga. He ain't domestically. Oh, I guess it's domestic, but
Yeah, and from what we know, Jonathan Majors slapped a girl.
yeah, but she got scratches on and marks on her neck too.
And Chris had some bruises. That boy jaw looked like it went into orbit. I ain't even gonna hold y'all. Will Smith looked like he slapped the shit out that man.
I didn't see no after photos.
He didn't post none, would you?
So how you know what his jaw looked like?
From the video. That girl, I look, y'all. I replayed
She
it.
said
I ain't
he
even gonna
reached
hold
back
y'all.
into another orbit.
He did.
How he didn't
reached
see him
into
slap?
another dimension. How do you not see it coming? I don't understand. And he leaned forward. Chris Rock leaned forward for the slap. Like, I don't understand how you didn't think that there was gonna be beef, sir. I don't care how close of friends we are. You knew he wasn't supposed to be coming on stage.
Yeah, it's not like he came from here.
Yeah, it ain't like he like went
He
like
did a
this.
he did a
reached.
LeBron James chalk toss on his
Bruh,
face.
you saw that coming. You saw that coming. So, next we have Tasha. For those of you who aren't aware of what's going on with the 90s group Escape, there is beef going on with the sisters, Latasha and Tamika. I don't know their last names, but Tasha stole $30,000 from her sister.
That's all I needed to hear. I didn't need to hear nothing else.
And Tamika did not press charges because that's her sister.
Chevelle Banks, if you steal $30,000 from me, you gonna have to see me, cuz.
Yeah, you're gonna have to see me, fam. You're gonna have to see me. I may not press charges. I don't want to see any of my siblings in jail, but you're gonna have to see me.
You gonna have to see me.
Yeah, but she didn't press charges on her because that's her sister, and it's coming out on the new show R&B Divas. If you guys have Peacock to catch up, but Latasha tried to say that she did not steal the money, in which Tamika responded by posting the receipts that her checks went to her sister's house against her will, and that they forged her signature to cash her check and used her passport to prove the identity, and stole her over $30,000. $30,000 was just one of the checks, and she's claiming that they stole multiple. So,
I want to give the knee answer and say, well, maybe she needed it, but nah, that's my $30,000.
that's what Nee would say. I don't think Nee. If I stole $30,000 from Nee, I don't think, like, in her head she would be like, well, maybe she needed it. Well, obviously, if somebody steals anything in their minds, they needed it, but it was mine. Like. That don't justify it.
I didn't say it was justified.
Like, I don't. First of all, that's your sister. If you're going to steal, like
If
steal
you hard
from
up
your
for $30,000, just ask me, bro.
You steal a dress from your sister. You steal her favorite jeans. Like, you steal your sister's new J's when she told you not to put them on. You don't steal $30,000 from your fucking sister, bro.
I said what I said.
No, you played the wrong one. It's this one right here. You gotta see me, fam. If you steal 30,000 of my hard-earned coins, they will never find the body. Are you? What? It can't be murder without a body. It can't be. The amount of effed up that you got me. But anyway, they're trying to cancel Latasha. Latasha is supposed to be trying to go solo again. And go gospel, and she
After
wants to really
stealing her
after
sister
stealing
money.
anyway. We ain't gonna change our minds. And going
Ain't that
gospel,
right, Shay?
and
Yep.
people are trying to cancel her now because they're finding out that she stole her sister's money. Her and her husband stole her sister's money, and they're saying, don't buy the gospel album when it comes out. Why would you even do that? She hasn't been touring, from what I understand, with Escape here because the beef has gotten that big. Do you think that canceling Tasha is justified, unjustified, or do you think she'll be an escape artist? Literally, escape.
Ooh, I think she is trying to work on her escape artist route with the gospel album. I'm changed. I'm reformed.
But
And you see, she be trying to talk all like this and
She
stuff when
does.
she's
She
doing
does a
her
lot.
interviews, so she can make y'all think she's just so cool, calm, and collected with her Louis V pajamas. Girl, go to bed in a wife beater like everybody else.
Y'all gotta go watch the show. Go watch R&B Divas.
Yes,
on
exactly.
Peacock.
She want to talk Jesus after she stole that girl money.
Right, all of a sudden. Now, with that being said, I definitely, like I said, I believe that people can change. And when she apparently stole it, this was all the way back in 2012. When this took place. So not to say that she hasn't changed since then, but if you had changed since then, one, I don't think you would still be denying it.
Yeah.
Two, I don't think that you would be trying to reverse it on your sister and make it seem like she's attacking you for calling you out for it. And then three, I don't think that you would be carrying on the way that you're carrying on if you actually had some type of remorse for the actions that
Acting
you
like
took
she
back
don't
then.
even know
So
what
I think
happened.
if they were to cancel her, it would be justified. I do think that she wouldn't deserve to be canceled forever, like for life, because it didn't affect us.
Didn't she post her sister's nudes or provocative pictures from
She
this?
threatened to.
Still, that's
She did. She threatened to
wild.
post
You
her
in the
sister's sex
wrong.
tape if she
You know
continues
what?
moving forward with it.
Conspiracy theory. What if the husband stole it and she didn't know?
Ooh, plot twist.
Yeah, because ain't he crooked?
He seems inauthentic on the show. But people have also rumored
What
that
up,
there
E?
may be some type of DV going on there as well. I'm not speculating to that. I don't know anything about it. That's just something that, Twitter and Instagram be hollering. Who's next? Da Baby. And there were so many reasons that he was canceled. Like he did a lot.
Y'all didn't cancel him for killing somebody in Walmart. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
y'all
stand
didn't
on
cancel
that.
him for murder, but the way that he treated his baby mama,
Y'all didn't cancel him for that.
the way that he treated his second baby mama, Danny, what's her face, the singer,
Danny Lay, y'all didn't cancel him for that.
and then the homophobic, transphobic
That's where he was
rants
canceled.
online, on
The
stage.
They didn't even cancel him after he punched that girl for having the phone in his face.
Oh yeah,
You remember that?
Yeah.
He
When
punched
bopped that
her,
girl. Well, he said she hit him with the phone. Like that doesn't justify him cocking back and punching her. But however, he said he hit her with the phone, and I can see me doing one of these numbers too. If you
Yeah, that's
accidentally hit me
this.
with the doggone phone.
Nah, he cocked back and punched her. Yeah, he cocked back and
So
punched her.
justified, unjustified.
No, he
Escape
need to be
artist.
canceled, bro. He need to be where he at. He got a lesson to learn. And I'm gonna talk about this
But
later
does
in
he
one
need
of
to
the other
stay
questions.
canceled though? Because he's been canceled for a little minute now, hasn't he?
It ain't even been a year. Hey, they selling his tickets on Groupon. He deserved that. Look, you gotta fix your ways. So I guess I can just talk about it now and not wait till later. So in these instances, if you want to show change, you become the leader of domestic violence or the face of an organization that combats the issue that you had to show that you have changed, or you put money into something that shows this is not me anymore, and these are the things that I believe now. I have educated myself, and here I am putting up for the cause. He could easily be uncanceled if he did these types of things.
You're still gonna, don't get me wrong, because you're still gonna be met with the people that are saying
Oh,
that
yeah.
you're only doing it because you were canceled and blah 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 blah. But those aren't the people you need to be worried about. It's the mainstream people believing you that you need to be worried about.
So your tickets can get off of Groupon.
That part. But okay, so you think he needs to be canceled? I would agree. I think that was a justifiable cancel. I don't think, again, that he deserves to be canceled forever. There are good and bad. There's good and bad things in all of us, and he has shown, from what we have seen, to be a good father to the children. Now, the way that he treats
You're not a terrible human being.
Agreed. That's what I just said. We have good and bad in all of us. And he has shown to be a good father, which is important to those children. He's taking care of his kids and he's in their lives. Not so good of a partner, it appears, but talented rapper, talented artist, creative. He appeared to have worked well with many people in the industry. He worked his way into, Meg the Stallion. So he appeared to be like pretty okay. I love Meg. I love her.
I love Meg.
We're Texans in here.
I'm a Houstonian. Let's go. Meg all the
But he
way,
appears
all
to have
day.
a good relationship with the majority of the people in the industry. as well. So I think a good year, maybe two, a good year or two, I would hope to see the baby featuring on somebody's stuff again. Like, he can start peeking his head back out. He's still talented, and he's still in his 20s. Like you just said, Kevin Hart was posting dumbass shit in his 20s. We were posting dumbass stuff in our 20s. He's in his 20s. He is also allowed to make dumbass decisions. Ja Morant is allowed to make dumb decisions.
But it's what you said about Nicki
DDG
Minaj,
and
though.
them,
If we
make dumb decisions.
cancel them now, they know what it feels like, so they can get their shit together for later.
That's why I said a year or two of him being off grid and figuring out, okay, I got to move a little differently. I think that we should definitely, as a community, welcome him back with open arms.
Yes, grace and love.
Yeah.
Don't mess up again, though, because we gonna be on your ass.
Poor celebrities, man. They got it.
That's why I don't want to be famous. I just want to be rich.
You're right, but you're with someone who does, though.
Yes,
Like, what?
I am with you.
What's she gonna do when it's me on the screen and they're like, cancel that bitch? And she's like, oh, no, wait. What? I feel like
But
my
that's why
own
you
girl
can do
ain't
so
got my
many
back.
things. If you get canceled from acting, you could just sing
No,
or be a
mainstream
comedian.
canceled does not mean
You like the Jamie Foxx of things.
the female Jamie. I'll take that. I will take that. We got more people. Tiffany Haddish.
Ooh, she was unjustifiably canceled in my eyes.
I agree. I
After
don't think we
learning
should have
all the
canceled
details.
Tiffany Haddish. And everybody keeps saying like, oh, it was settled and she paid a certain amount of money. She paid them for the what's the name that they did, because they were supposed to be paid back then and they weren't, apparently, allegedly. But also, she did not abuse the children, as they admitted, and they also issued a formal apology to her when they dropped the I don't understand what she was canceled for. All of her jobs were taken. I understand that's a serious accusation, but when it came out that Tiffany Haddish had not actually abused the kids in the court, they should have automatically, I feel like that she was very much so unjustifiably canceled, and I'm looking forward to seeing her in things in the future. I have a lot of love for Tiffany Haddish. I felt really bad about that.
Very much so.
I felt really, really
We
bad
love
because once
Tiff.
again, people jumped at that opportunity.
Tiff, if you want to come on and come talk to us anytime.
What are we at? We're at 4:43. Okay. Trey Songz.
Yep.
They call me Trey Songz. Like, ooh,
That's terrible.
Mr. Steal Your Girl. How do you feel about
gonna be
Trey
stealing
Songz
the
being
soap.
canceled?
Look,
Man.
if y'all don't know the history of all the things Trey Songz has done and people have not believed his accusers, you should look it up, because it's a laundry list of things that he's done. And what he's done to curve it, because I'm in between Justified and Escape Artist, is he just has not responded to anything and went into a hiding. Like, he ain't made no statement. His PR people ain't said nothing. He ain't made a song. He ain't been on a feature. We ain't seen him at the club. He is missing.
Mm-hmm. He just decided to lay low. I think,
You
and I love
better
Trey
lay low.
Songz for his first album. Actually, it was his mixtape and his first album were two of my favorite albums in high school. I was really disappointed when it came out that he was, I don't want to say an abuser, alleged abuser, but what I will
Everybody
say,
can't be lying.
yeah,
I'm one of those
what
people.
I will say is it took people quite some time to believe that he was an abuser. I believed it as soon as I heard Keke Palmer say it.
What she got to lie for?
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought. As soon as Keke Palmer said he was overly aggressive and grabbed her or whatever at that club after she said she didn't want to do something, I was like, oh, nah, she ain't lying. Like, I don't know why I knew that she wasn't lying. I wasn't there. I'm quick to be like, oh, nobody was. Nah, I believed her. That was.
Can I ask you something?
Yeah.
You going to be mad at me for asking you this. What if Keke Palmer said Jonathan Majors did something to her?
Why?
I got her, y'all. I got her.
But why? If Keke Palmer said Jonathan Majors did something to her, I would believe Keke. My heart would just hurt real bad.
Real bad.
real bad.
Okay, y'all. That was just my personal edification. We can move on.
I would believe Keke. Monique. Comedian Monique.
Y'all, if y'all don't leave one of the original queens of comedy alone, we stand with Mo. all day, every day.
Love Auntie Mo. She was right. She was right. And y'all knew she was right.
And
Y'all
had
knew
the
she wasn't
receipts.
lying. Y'all knew she wasn't lying when she said that Netflix was underbidding her. And then the thing is, half the people in the industry that knew that she was correct still did not stand beside her. They just chose to be quiet.
Yeah.
That's what hurt. I hurt so bad for Monique on that because she needed y'all to have her back, bro. She was like, I'm a queen of comedy. Like, I've been doing this for 20 years and y'all gave Amy
memorized
Schumer
her set.
millions, but you want to offer me half of 1 million, not even a full million, half of $1 million. But you're offering Amy Schumer millions of dollars. Like, what? You know, and you're telling me that it has nothing to do with race? You suck. like, I did not
Y'all better
understand
respect
that at
Mo.
all. I didn't understand that at all.
And it just plays into the narrative of the angry black woman, right? So she just seems like the angry black woman because
For
she
asking
wants
for
her
her
just
worth.
due. Like, she's a legend already. I don't
asking
need to
for her
prove this to you. I've already done this.
And
So
then
pay me
those
what
of y'all
I'm
that
worth.
came out of nowhere talking about, so she's not even funny, first of all. Heavy on the F y'all. Heavy on the F y'all. Monique is hilarious.
And I laughed, and I was a skinny bitch at the time.
Exactly. Hilarious.
I'm not
Y'all
no more.
Big tripping, big cap. Y'all just decided to be mad and you didn't want her. You're like, $500,000 is still a lot of money to you.
Yeah.
To you in a 2-bedroom apartment, that's a lot of money. To you in just a regular, house, that's not a lot of money. But for somebody who has been working their tail off for 30 years in this doggone game and has earned every penny of it, and $500,000 is a
That's
drop in the
insulting.
bucket, that's insulting. That's like you being a doctor and then walking in and they want to offer you $50K a year. I went to school.
Ooh, I'm finna cut on.
Exactly. I'm a surgeon. What do you mean? That's what that feels like. Is $50K more than some people make in America? Absolutely. Is it your worth, though? Absolutely not.
Boom.
And that's crazy to me that y'all thought so. But okay, so we got to move on to the next question. Do you think that cancel culture is a symptom of a larger societal issue? And if so, what issue?
I won't say it's exactly a societal issue. It's more of a cultural symptom from...
Say more things.
Yeah. It's more of a cultural symptom from people. I would say the black community trying to hold others accountable, right? So we often have a hard time.
Vicky.
We often have a hard time coming together for things. And cancel culture is an easy, lazy way for us to come together for certain things. And say, oh yeah, we band together to do this.
Oh, that's a very interesting perspective. I wouldn't have thought that at all. I think the complete opposite. I think that one of the great things about our culture is the fact that we come together and we have kind of internal things that we understand.
So much, though.
That may be true, but it happens. And I feel that it happens a lot more in our community than it does in a lot of other communities based on the people that I've spoken to.
White folks come together quick.
On what?
Anything.
Like cancel culture, like this. I don't think that that's a race thing. Cancel culture is something that everybody comes together on. These people that are attacking Jonathan Major don't all look like us. In fact, the majority of them do not. We are harder on ourselves, and I think that that's an echo chamber thing. I think that us being harder on ourselves is part of our echo chamber because black people are some of the only people that have to be responsible for everybody. There's not another race that has to be responsible for the decisions of other people that look like them. If a white person makes a mistake, the media makes it seem like that one person had mental issues or that one person had an issue, but if a black person messes up, all of us
That's why I say
have to hold that person accountable.
That's why I say it's a black thing. As far as cancel culture goes. Because white folks, they don't cancel each other.
Yes, they do.
No, they don't.
Okay,
We
I think
disagree.
we just disagree on that. But I also do think that it is an issue of a more of a societal issue, and I think it has more to do with the crab in the barrel mentality. No, everybody wants to have a celebrity, but celebrities don't ask to be placed on the pedestal that you guys put us on. Like that's one of the things that I thought was so important when I started getting a lot of followers on TikTok was to make sure that y'all knew. You can come and say hi to me. Come say hi. I'm a regular ass person. I'm a mom. I'm a single mom out here trying to live my doggone best life. I am navigating through life and trying to figure some things out. I don't want you to put me on a pedestal and think, oh my God, that's who I want to be like, because me, I'm still trying to figure out my life, and so are these celebrities. They just happen to be great singers. They just happen to be talented in things that you may not be talented in, or talented in getting the recognition for things that you would like the recognition in. But that does not mean that they are immune to mistakes. It does not mean that they're automatically super intelligent and that they have all of the answers because they have money or because they have access to things that you don't have access to. I think that we forget to give grace to people who have money because they have money and we don't. We think that because they have money that they won't make the same mistakes that we make without it. And they very much so will, because these are human mistakes, not poverty mistakes. These aren't poor people mistakes. These aren't rich people mistakes. These are just humanistic mistakes. They are mistakes that we make based on the experiences that we have. That has nothing to do with celebrity or not. So I think that the larger symptom is jealousy and comparison. And when they make a mistake, we want to be like, they are human. But in order for them to feel human to you, they need to be in your tax bracket. In order for them to feel accessible to you, or like they're really being punished, they have to be within reach to you. And the only way that you feel that they are within reach is to take away that celebrity status. That's what I think cancel culture does. I do not think that it is helpful in educating celebrities who are also just regular people just like us. They're working their jobs. They are the surgeons of the singers. They are the surgeons of the acting. They are the surgeons of the comedy realm, whatever. But they did their time. They're talented in this gift, and that is their job. They didn't ask to be sheroes and heroes to you. So I think if we take our celebrities off of that pedestal and see them as humans and admire them instead of comparing, it would be better for society. I don't know. That's my opinion. I don't think that it's a black thing. I do think it is a culture thing, but I don't necessarily think that cancel culture is a black thing per se. And I think that we're doing a lot better as a community as well, as far as coming together and supporting one another outside of cancel culture, in my opinion.
I mean, so just to combat that and give my opinion, Robert Downey Jr., he laid low for a little bit, and then we made him the strongest figure in the strongest brand on the movie screen. Do you think our black figures could have done that?
Yes.
I don't think so.
I think that we would have been capable. I just think that we didn't, and we don't often.
We still talking about Chris Brown. Everybody
was
was saying Chris Brown was going to be the next MJ.
And he could have been.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And he still can be.
He's
y'all just
canceled.
wouldn't. Yeah, I was like, y'all just won't let this man
That's my
make
point.
it.
That's my
But that's
point.
not. I don't think that that's just us, though. I don't think that that's us as black people. I think that is mainstream.
Oh, it's a lot of black people. Black folks came for Chloe, for working with him. That's not right.
I agree that that's not right, but I also think that was not just black folks, is my point. I don't think that is a black issue. I think that is a societal issue. But it's an issue nonetheless. But we are out of time, guys. Thank you so much for tuning into today's discussion on cancel culture. As we wrap up, I want to remind our listeners of the importance of promoting open and honest dialogue, even when we disagree with one another. We should be mindful of the potential harm that cancel culture can cause to individuals and communities, and strive to hold each other accountable in constructive and compassionate ways. Let's work together to build a culture that values diversity of thought and allows for growth and learning, even when we face disagreement. Let's not let cancel culture silence important voices and ideas. Join us in promoting a culture of dialogue and understanding so that we can keep important conversations going. Thank you so much for tuning in to Laugh Therapy with Joe today, guys, and we will catch you next week at 4 p.m. PST.